Hey there everybody, this is Steven with another Pixel for Life video tutorial. Now I'm sure every one of you guys remember my last web series where I did from start to finish on, I believe it was programming a WordPress template. Now I kind of want to do something like that again, but this time it's going to be with designing. And I have an idea in mind, and I want to kind of take you through my process of creating it. This is not going to be one of those tutorials where I tell you the numbers to punch in so you can make something that looks exactly like it. Instead, I want this to be more of a learning experience where you get to see how I came up with the idea and created it, and kind of the problem solving, and then my resources for coming up with images. So this is kind of going to be a class. Sorry for the stuttering there. I don't know what's going on. It's the cold weather. So, okay, my idea is I want to create a wall and have a couple of picture frames on it. And I kind of want it to be a warm feeling, something Christmassy, I guess it would be. So, to start off, I think of a warm color. What do you think of that reminds you of home and very warm? And that is green. It could be different for you. I don't know if, maybe bright red is for you. I don't know how you work. So let's just go with a warm green, something like this. Oh man, this is going to be long. I'm going to be trying to get the correct green. Let's just go with that. Whoa, an alert from my phone. Alright, so let me fill this with green, and I just did that by Alt and Backspace. And, I don't like that green. Let's go with something a little bit darker. Okay, let's go with this one. Now, when I look at my wall right in front of me, I see that the wall has a little bit of texture to it. So I'm going to do that by adding, wow. Alright, so I want to fill this with a noise, so I'm going to fill a new layer with white. Going to filter, noise, and add noise. And I'm going to, maybe something kind of dark like this, and it's going to look ugly if I were just to put that onto this green. And I want it to be kind of a smooth noise, so I'm going to go with blur and do a Gaussian blur. Bring this way down. Maybe something like this. Look at your wall. You see the little bumps in there, and that's kind of what I'm after. So I'm going to go with that, and then multiply, and let's bring that down. Maybe something like that. Alright. And I want to give this a little bit of darker look, I guess. So let me just double click on here, go to layer properties, and go to color overlay, and let's pick a new green color. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. That's very good. Alright, so now that we have that, and it has that little bit of texture in the background, which I think looks good, I'm going to create a new layer above this, and I want it to have a little bit of offsetting color, I guess. So I'm going to grab a big brush and maybe some yellow, a little bit of yellow in here, something like that. Maybe create a new layer and go with a little bit of red, something like that. And let's just try changing this to overlay possibly, and overlay. Let's hide this red one for now. Bring this down, and kind of like it's being lit from the bottom. I don't know if overlay is the correct option, but let's combine those and go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and just make it a little bit softer, and then turn this way down. I don't know, that might not work. And then let's add kind of like a black, or black around the edges, so it's kind of focusing you in on the center of it. So I'm going to get a black paintbrush, zoom out, paint this, and again I'm kind of just making this up as I go along. I know in my head what I want it to look like, and I just need to figure out how I want to portray it. Alright, so I got that. Let's turn this way down. So then you're focusing right here. And when I think of a wall, I always think of like a baseboard on it, which is, a piece of wood that separates half the wall, or 3-4 feet of it. So let's just draw out something maybe like this. and grab a brown color, like a reddish brown, I guess, just to keep with the warm feel. That's too bright. Let's give this a try. Alright, so now I want this to have texture, like a wood texture. So I know that because I don't know if I made it a tutorial or not, but I thought about it. I know I need to do that by filling this with white. Then go to Filter, Noise, Add Noise. And turn that down, I don't know, something like this. Then go to Filter, Blur, and a Motion Blur. And that looks good right there. And I'm going to drag this down slightly. And then I'm going to right click this layer and go to Create Clipping Mask. So it masks it to this wood layer. Change this to Multiply. Bring down that opacity. And there we go. We got a pretty nice looking wood texture. And I want something like a something spacing off the top of it. So I'm going to click Command and click this layer so it makes a selection. Then hold down Alt and click and drag off a selection of this. Something like that. And then above everything, I'm just going to fill it with black. Or not black, this brown. Double click it. Let's bring down the fill opacity and then have a gradient overlay. Change this to maybe darken, maybe overlay. That might work. Let's see how that turns out. Let's drag this over here. Let's see. Not quite what I'm looking for. Well, maybe that. That might be good enough for now. Well, we might have to edit it. Let's create a new layer above everything, and I want to give it some color. So I'm going to grab like a dark red, dark reddish brown, and then I'm going to color it in slightly. Select this, selection inverse, and delete. Zoom in, and let's try difference. No. Maybe overlay again. That's a good one. Alright, so there we go. We have a little bit of color to it. Maybe it's too much on the sides here. But you can kind of see what I'm doing. I get an idea in my mind. I want to make this darker. So I get a new color and I make it darker. Simple as that. Let's take this black, this framing of the black and put that to the top. Alright. And this brown, I think it might need to be a little bit darker. So let's try color overlay. And go with a darker brown. I don't know. Let's copy that code. Delete this. Select this and paste in the code right here. And then fill it with that. I don't know if that worked or not. Let's color overlay. Paste it in. Seems to be kind of weird, like it's not. Strange. I don't know what that problem is. So here we go. You're going to see what I do to figure this out. Let's remove that release clipping mask, and it's back, and then create clipping mask, and it gets rid of it. Strange. All right, so let's forget about the clipping mask. Select this. And let's just do a normal mask. That works. Then this one, let's double click this. And let's see. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just leave it like this, I guess. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. Kind of what I'm after. This wood is kind of bothering me. It kind of doesn't look too realistic. So let's see. What can we do? Well, I guess one thing is maybe this wood needs some spacers in it. Above everything, let's create one layer, a new layer. Grab your pencil tool, 1 pixel. Alright, make your default colors with black and white. and just draw one line. Hold down Alt and Shift and drag it over. And then Command I to make it white. And then I'm going to lower down this color. Bring this one as well. Bring this one way, way down. Same with that. Alright, and then I'm going to select both of those, right click them, and convert to a smart object because I'm going to be duplicating it and I want to easily be able to go back and change the colors. So if you're not sure about using smart objects, you can check out one of my other tutorials and I talked about using them. So let's try putting it right there and then slide it over maybe here, another one right here. Alright, and then maybe one more. Go ahead and just I equal distance, something like that. Alright, and then I'm going to duplicate these, drag them to the top, and then let's slide these over. Something like this. Alright, select all four of these, and then let's drag them down. I don't know if I'm going to like the way this looks, but let's see. Then let's lower this opacity way down. Alrighty, so now both of these have a little bit more character to it. I'm kind of liking the way that that looks. Let's just group all these together and name them wood spacers. And then group all of this. Name this baseboard. And alright, that's good, that's good. Let's see what it might look like if we add a little bit of like a white glow to the top here. So I'm going to get my white brush, change the back to the paintbrush, and then maybe just a little bit of white up here. Just randomly place it. Then change this to overlay and bring this opacity way, way down. Maybe something like that. And then the picture frames will go right into the middle here, and it'll kind of be like a glow going around it. Alright, so now I need to get an idea for a picture frame. So the place that I go to not get copyright infringement is Stock Exchange, sxc.hu, and you can create a free account and you can download a ton of free images. So here I'm just going to look for picture frame, wait for it to load, and then let's just scroll through here a little bit really quickly. Let's change this to 60 per page. Just scroll through. And here we go. Let's just go with this one just to get an idea of what I'm after. And I'm not going to copy this one at all. I'm just going to look at it and I'm just going to go Command Shift 4 and just take a screenshot of this real quickly. You can click on it and get the high res, but I don't need that right now. So I'm just going to drag and drop the screenshot into here. Click OK. Let's drag it to the top of the layer. And let's group all these bottom layers together and name this wall. Very good. Alright, so create a new layer above this image, and we can place this, roughly where we want it, scale it down, something like that. And zoom in. And I'm going to grab my rounded rectangle tool. And let's see what the corners look like. That might be a little bit too much, so let's change this to 4. And let's just create, it doesn't have to be perfect, just a rough shape. That's all this is, just a template. Alright, going to change that to like a gray color. Click OK. And then I can hide this. I probably won't look at that again, but I'll just hide it just in case. I don't want to be too quick to delete. So now, good thing I didn't delete it. I want to show this. We can keep it to the side here maybe. If you look on the corners, you can see where I guess the 4 pieces of the frame get fitted together. You see a little bit of a bump. So I want to create that, and to do that I'm just going to use normal blending options. So double click the frame layer and use bevel and emboss, because I know it's going to pop it out somehow. So I'm going to change the size so it's a bit bigger. Goes to about as thick of the frame as goes to be about as thick as I want the frame to be. So something like this, maybe a little bit more. And I want the edges to be a little bit harder. So the technique is, let's try chisel hard, chisel soft. Can't see too much of a difference, so let's just go with chisel hard. And then we'll soften the edges a bit, just till you get something that looks good to you. Size is good. Depth, maybe something like that. I'm using 21, 21, and 5, but again, just do your own thing. You don't have to copy me. Let's mess with some of these curves here, see what we can do. As you can see, as we move it around, we get different brightness on the top and the bottom and all that. So I don't like the way that looks. Maybe there's a default one that looks good. That's not bad. A little bit too bright, but we could always change that. Let's see, what was that one? This one, I guess. Let's give it a try. Lower the opacity here. And I'm just going for the basic shape. I know we need to add some gloss, but don't worry about that right now. Let's give it a stroke, 1 pixel, and make it kind of a dark gray. Something like that. Okay, so now we have the basic shape. Let's create a new layer above this and just get out a rough square, something like that. Let's see how that looks. Let's fill it with white, and then select both of these layers and let's center it. I think this might need to be a little bit taller. Something like that. Okay, that's good. Now I want to add a little bit of gloss to this, so let's create a new layer. And actually, let's hide this one for now. In this layer, I'm going to go around these 4 corners. So grab your paintbrush and bring it down, way down. And I'm going to add a little bit of highlight. So holding Shift, I'm going to click, hold down Shift so it draws a straight line. Click, Shift, click, Shift. Okay, change that to overlay. Lower that opacity. And you can see exactly what that did. And we don't want it to be a uniform reflection. We kind of just want to have it fade in certain areas. So I'm just going to click and erase certain parts of that. Alright, let's create a new layer. Let's see what something like this might look like. Click that. I don't even know how this is going to look, so if it's ugly, I apologize. Let's rotate that maybe. Select this, selection inverse, delete, delete, and then change this maybe to, let's see what overlay looks like. Lower that opacity, change this to overlay as well, and don't worry about the center part. Lower that opacity, just so it looks like it's reflecting something. This one still might be a little too harsh. And it's not perfect, but it gives it some character. Let's try that, the white effect on the side here. So I'm going to grab my white paintbrush, change this to overlay, and then just paint, I don't know, something like this. Maybe some on the top. Select this, selection inverse, delete it, and lower that opacity. Alright, so now that frame has a little bit of character, as you can see. You can mess with it and get it perfect, but I don't want to waste too much of your time just working on reflections. So now that we have that, let's group this all together. Just these bottom layers, not this top square. So I'm going to group that together, and I'm going to name it frame. And then right click it and convert it to a smart object, so when I duplicate it I can easily edit it and all the duplicates will change. So again, let's go back into here and let's look for a photo. Let's I don't know, animal. Let's get a llama. Llamas are always fun. And wow, hard to choose. Let's go with this hot guy right here. Wow. So again, I'm going to click it, and I think you might need an account to get the larger photo. So It's free to register last I checked. And let's close this. Open this up in Photoshop. And I'm going to change the image size to, probably can get away with 600 width. And then drag and drop it in here. Wow, quite large. So I'm going to scale this down. Let's take half of his face. Let's do something cool. This might be funny. I don't know. Let's take half of his face here. Select the, or first convert it to a smart object, and you'll see why. Oops. Change the opacity to 100. Convert to smart object, and let's duplicate it 3 times. Drag this one to the bottom, and we can delete this picture frame. Hide it. Hide this one. Select this, and let's do a mask. Okay. And then let's open up this, and then drag this over. And then mask that. Okay, so now we have 2 pictures. Looks good. And now we just need 2 picture frames. To duplicate that frame. Bring this one down here. Okay, select these 2 and center them. I guess that doesn't work. Alright, looks good. Drag that over. Alright, so now we have 2 frames. Now why did I convert this image to a smart image? Or whatever it's called. A smart layer. Because, let's say I want to do some color corrections. Instead of going into both of the images, I can just open up that one, and let me just show how I did that. Double click this right here. Open it up, and if I want to go to add a layer adjustment like curves or something, I can easily do that. Let's make it, I don't know, make it a little bit nicer. Change the blue layer a little bit to a warmer feel. Alright, and then when I save this, you can see it automatically updates those images in the background. Very good. Alright, so now let's just grab these and we'll kind of center it on the image and maybe add a little bit of lighting to the bottom here. So let's go back to wall, create a new layer. This might look stupid, but we'll find out. Let's grab a white paintbrush and zoom out. Zoom back in to 100%. I like to work in 100% because I can kind of see what's going on. And let's lower that opacity down. And maybe the pictures need a little bit of shadowing. Let's just try something out. Underneath the pictures, let's create a new layer and fill it with black. I'm going to drag this down. Go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And let's blur that. I don't know. Lower the opacity way, way down. Bring it up. Maybe up a little bit more. Then slide that over. I don't know. You can play with it, see what you think looks good. Let's try creating a new layer above everything. And with the black paintbrush, I'm just going to paint in, bring that way down. Something a little bit darker here. And then erase that center part right here. Sorry for the silence. Okay, and then let's lower this opacity. That might be a little bit too harsh. Alright, I'm just going to leave it at that. You can mess with it and get a better feel, however you want it to look. One last thing, I want to add kind of like a glass glare to here. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to select this one layer and kind of like the reflection in the background. But I'm going to extend it a little bit. And let's fill it with black. Let's try black. And let's change it to overlay maybe. Bring that down. I don't know how that's going to look. selection, inverse, delete, and then let's copy it over here. Zoom out and let's see how that looks. Maybe we can bring the opacity up a little bit. I don't know. You can mess with it. Let's try inverting it, see if white looks better. That might look a bit better. And then let's try a drop or inner shadow. Something like that. Copy that over to this one. Let's copy both of these over. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. Kind of taking too long on just the reflections. Alright, and then to finish it off, we'll just add our name to it because it's good to give yourself some self-promotion. And just write Pixel for Life. You'd make it white. Overlay. I love overlay. I'll lower the opacity and I'll just throw it in the corner right here. Very good. Alright, so hopefully you learned something from this. Again, I didn't want to just teach you step by step how to create something. I kind of wanted to teach you the process that you would take to create something that looks nice. This stock photo website is a great resource for some free images that you can pretty much do whatever you want with them. I'm guessing you can't resell them though, which I don't see why you'd want to. Anyhow, hope you learned something. Feel free to contact me with any questions that you have. Send it as a PM or leave it as a comment below. And I haven't really advertised it, but you can add us on Twitter. I believe our account is Pixel for Life. Twitter.com/Pixel for Life. And thanks for watching, and see you next time.